August 15th, 1984. A truck carrying 12 passengers is navigating a dark, winding road in rural Cameroon when a dense, low-lying fog rolls out from the shore of Lake Manoon. The mist stalls the engine and blankets the pavement. 10 of the passengers crawl out of the cab to investigate. They collapse to the ground the moment their feet hit the road. The 2 passengers on the roof watch in silence as thousands of insects suddenly drop dead from the sky. By morning, 37 people and hundreds of livestock along that road are dead. Local authorities, unable to explain the sudden loss of life, suspect a covert chemical attack. Fearing public panic, the government suppresses the story, blacking out the incident from the rest of the world. But treating a geological anomaly as a political secret doesn't stop the underlying process. Ignoring the event only ensured that when the phenomenon returned, it would do so with far greater force. 2 years later, 100 kilometers away at Lake Nyos, a deafening rumble shakes the ground. The water begins to foam and boil, releasing a heavy mist that surges down the hillside and into the sleeping villages below. Survivors describe waking to a foul-smelling fog that left them gasping for air. Many fell unconscious where they stood, waking hours later with strange red sores resembling chemical burns. When they finally stepped outside, they found their neighbors and families deceased in their beds. The devastation was absolute. Entire communities were wiped out in a single night. Over 1,800 people lost their lives, alongside more than 3,000 domestic animals. The morning revealed one final change. The lake's signature murky brown water had turned blood red. The selective survival on high ground, the chemical-like burns, and the discolored water pointed to a specific, unknown geological force. This was a phenomenon that the scientific community was only beginning to name. International medical teams and scientists arrived to find a landscape of total silence. They initially investigated the possibility of a chemical terror attack, but the extreme remoteness of the region made it an improbable target for a covert strike. Researchers then looked toward the surrounding volcanic field, searching for signs of a recent eruption. They found nothing. There was no seismic activity, no fresh lava, and no evidence that the volcano beneath the lake had actually woken up. The answer was found in the red water itself. Testing revealed that the lake was completely saturated with lethal concentrations of carbon dioxide. Identifying the gas explained the cause of death, but it raised a new question. How could a placid body of water store and then suddenly detonate an invisible chemical weapon? These crater lakes sit above active magma fields that slowly leak carbon dioxide into the water. In the extreme depths, the water is so cold and the pressure so high that the gas becomes trapped in the bottom layer. Over centuries, it builds up into a massive, concentrated reservoir. This creates a fragile, pressurized seal. A minor disturbance, a small rock slide or a bout of cold rain, is enough to mix the water layers and break that seal. The compressed CO2 rapidly expands as it rises, shooting out of the water in a geyser hundreds of feet high. This creates a 60-foot tsunami while simultaneously releasing a massive, dense cloud of gas into the air. Because carbon dioxide is heavier than air, it hugs the ground, flowing down the terrain like a slow-moving river. It displaces all oxygen, stalling car engines and suffocating anyone in the low-lying villages. The red color of the lake was simply iron-rich sediment from the bottom being blasted to the surface. These events officially established a new category of natural disaster, the Limnic eruption. To prevent a recurrence, scientists installed degassing pipes at Manoon and Nyos. These pipes allow the deep water gas to vent slowly and continuously into the atmosphere, preventing another massive buildup. But while Cameroon's lakes are being managed, a much larger threat remains unaddressed. Lake Kivu, located on the border of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, is the third and largest lake on Earth capable of such an eruption. This chart shows the scale of the danger. Kivu is 2,000 times larger than Lake Nyos and contains massive volumes of carbon dioxide alongside highly flammable methane. 2 million people live directly along its shores. Standard venting pipes are insufficient for a body of water this size. Without an effective way to degas the lake, millions of people live in the path of a hazard that has no active mitigation. Geological records indicate that Lake Kivu experiences major eruptions roughly every 1,000 years. The last one occurred 5,000 years ago. By every scientific metric, the lake is overdue for a release. Today, a localized earthquake or an eruption from a nearby volcano could be the trigger that breaks the pressure seal in Kivu's depths. In this scenario, the presence of methane creates an additional risk. A limnic eruption at Kivu wouldn't just result in mass asphyxiation, it could ignite, turning the gas cloud into a wall of fire that covers the surrounding land in an instant. The events at Lake Nyos provided a clear demonstration of how these invisible forces operate. That history is a warning. The same physics that devastated the villages of Cameroon are currently at work beneath Lake Kivu, waiting for a single disturbance to trigger the next eruption.